Fantastic.
So moving down the process, we've now completed the workplace relations review. The clients approved all the contracts, the policies, procedures. One of the questions we normally get up front is how long does this whole process take normally? And what's the next steps for the client?
So, as the process length is like how long is a piece of string? Businesses' needs are different. Businesses' sizes are different. I could, if I was directly working with a business and had their attention for a full day, do everything over and done with in a day. But would the client see value in just having me out there for a day, or would the client see more value in working with this process over time? Typically, we are waiting upon the client for more information. We're waiting upon them to review the documents. We're waiting for them to approve or get certain pieces of data or information for us, because we try to be proactive as much as we can. We advise the clients in the welcome meeting what sort of timeline we expect on this project. It could be a day, it could be a few days, it could be a progression over time. It all comes down into, as well as, once the client has the information and data, the documents, how do they want to implement it? Are they looking at a deadline like a July turnaround with new wage rollouts? So we're under pressure if this was back in June, or are we looking at now that we're going through more of a relaxed revision or review approach with the business's demand? So when it comes down to time bases, we can meet the client's deadlines as much as possible. But again, when it comes down to drafting, I could spend just one day or a few hours on getting all the award information down pat, drafting contracts and handbooks and breaking them out into streams. It's my day-to-day job. I can pump them out quite quick, but if I'm in consultation with the client and talking about things that are very specific, I do like to spend the time on them sometimes to be able to draft out a clause that's more specific to them and not just take something off the shelf.
And I think
The really important point here is that you mentioned. Typically, we're waiting on the client, or the client waiting on us. If required, we can punch out a workplace relations review relatively quickly. But typically, obviously, from a client perspective, there's a lot of other competing business priorities, which makes things like producing reports on employees' wages and all the other tidbits of information that we need, looking at their current employment contracts, all those sorts of things can take some time to produce for us so we can do our job effectively. And I think the other point that you mentioned is sometimes a little bit challenging when it comes to the rollout stage of the documents. And so we've had experience in the past where employees are skeptical when, for example, a new employment agreement is rolled out. It's like, well, what are you taking on for me? Why do I need to sign a new employment contract? All these sorts of things. So when it comes to rollout and implementation, I think it's very important to be strategic for that and come up with a strategy, whether it be, hey, initially we'll start out by just rolling this out to new employees and wait for the next pay increase before we roll it out to our current employees, whatever it may be for that business. And one of the things I think when it comes to the workplace relations review, for us, yes, it's our first initial kickoff project. And we have some clients that come to us just for the workplace relations review. But in reality, the implementation of the workplace relations review tends to be complemented, in my view, around the essential support package, which is our other typical engagement that we have, which allows us to support the client throughout the process, as well as assisting them with their day-to-day advice. And this really makes both our clients and our jobs, to be honest with you, a lot easier, because that day-to-day advice is based on a solid compliance foundation, which is the whole purpose of the workplace relations review. I think we've covered a lot of this in significant detail. Is there anything that you would like to add, or anything that you think that we've missed when it comes to the workplace relations review?
I think, out of my experience of being in this space for the last 5 years directly and in HR for a good decade now. The most common thing that I've seen when it comes down to a workplace relations review is that businesses have competing priorities. They have other operation pieces on their agenda or don't have the right amount of staff to be able to roll this process out efficiently. We've got some big businesses with over 100 clients and other businesses with just a handful of employees, I should say. And one of the common things I've seen in the last 5 years is that I've gone through these processes with businesses or we've been affiliated with certain other businesses, and they haven't necessarily taken action with the workplace review. Unfortunately, things come to a crunch in that business, and if they'd rolled out their contracts, their procedures or policies, that next issue that they come back to us with could have been easily ironed out with having that framework in place in the beginning. And that's why I find the support so important for the business. It's, okay, I've done all this work. I don't want to just dump it on your doorstep and say, okay, this is what your next step should be. Workplace relations review is over. Good luck. I'd rather work with the business. Okay, I've done all this hard work with you. Employees are tricky. Some employees are going to work with the business. Some employees are just not going to play ball. And it's then that insight of then, okay, well, I've done all these changes for you. I know how all this works. Now I can help sell it to the employees. I can help you sell it to the employees, or we can go through an electronic signing process to make sure all the employees are updated with it. So I think just at least that initial 3 months after the review is then that implementation stage. And that's why our support services is so vital in that stage. It's helping roll out and helping deal with the issues that could come out of that process. Business could just implement it for the new employees, but again, you've got then double standards for your old employees. So whether it be just rolling out the contracts or the handbook alone to the employees could be a different strategy we could employ to be able to help that part of the business out. So going through the workplace review, we've gotten a lot of things corrected, a lot of good things in place, and I just want to see businesses start to utilise that effectively so that their rainy day issues are simple issues, not complex cases before the Fair Work Commission or Fair Work Ombudsman, so to say.
Does your business currently have a HR or workplace relations issue?
Are you unsure how to work through compliance issues but still achieve a good business outcome?
Why not take advantage of On Demand HR's free 30-minute online consultation with an experienced HR consultant?
At the end of the consultation, we also provide you with a strategic action plan to resolve your current issues.
To see the types of matters we can help with and to schedule your consultation, please visit ondemandhr.com.au/advice.
We look forward to delivering certainty, confidence and clarity for your business in your HR and workplace relations affairs.